her brother is Steven Seagal. The Steven Seagal. So for him to train Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, it seems like he would have had an in with Steven Seagal.
Why not? The guy's got legitimate lineage, I think. Steven Seagal?
Oh, yeah, no, he does. He trained, I think he trained in like Tenshinryu, Aikido, or something like that. Anyways, I talked to him on Facebook for a while. We were friends on Facebook until... That's another story. But I like him. He's a good guy. So, I made the mistake of saying that I didn't like his new movies, and then he defriended me.
Oh.
He's like, "So you're a fan of mine?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a fan of yours." I said, "I really like your old movies, like, Mark for Death, and even Under Siege was pretty cool."
Mm.
And he's like, I came up with a new one. I was like, I don't know, I don't really like your new movies. And then it was just whoop. What? Whoop. No longer friends on Facebook and stuff. Forgive me, Steve.
Steve, forgive the man.
Come on.
He's not a movie guy. He's a martial artist.
And you, I don't want to tell you who you are, but you were a martial artist first, and an actor second, and I don't know, the wire tricks and stuff.
I don't watch movies anyway.
You never liked the wire tricks anyway. You didn't. Anyways, what the hell are we talking about? Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill.
I think his name's Ed O'Neill.
Al Bundy.
Al Bundy.
We know he's Al Bundy.
Okay, so the whole point is, this is such a tangent. I'm sorry.
We love tangents, don't we, folks?
We do.
There we go.
So Al Bundy trains for 16 years before he gets his black belt under the Gracies.
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, he trained 16 years?
16
and
years.
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu
finally gets his black belt.
I mean...
Well, stop with the mother, the sister, or whatever.
Brothers, cousins.
The point is that the Gracies aren't going to give it out. I mean, if you were ever going to give it out, this guy's got millions of dollars, so why not just give him a black belt?
Meanwhile, this is a martial art that's primarily on the ground, and that's something that we don't do much.
No, it's not what we do.
We don't want to end up on the ground, but if you want to be there, good for you. Go Gracie.
I guess.
There's an endorsement.
For
if you want to fight on the ground, go Gracie.
Yeah, I think that we do pretty good on the ground.
We do. We get off the fucking
gear
ground.
The gear is to get off the ground. The whole
not stay there and get stomped out by somebody else. They don't train multiple opponents. We do.
Yeah, well, all right, but it's not commercial for us. The point is, the point is that if you are going to create a martial art, right? Why not spend the years, get the black belt from Gracie, right? Or whomever, then see the holes in what you were taught after you become an expert of that. Don't start from... Look, if you want to learn... I've said this before, but if you want to learn religion, learn one. Mm. Learn one. And then,
Find
if you don't...
holes.
Yeah. And then, if you're a Christian, then you'll understand Buddhism. If you're a Buddhist, then you can understand Christianity. If you live by no philosophy, and you're studying little bits of every single one, you'll never attain anything. There was some kind of comic book hero that somebody was telling me about at one point. And a student was like, "I'm really into comic books. You into comic books, Sensei?" I was like, "No." He goes, "Well, the cool thing about this comic book hero is that his dad took him to a different sensei every year, so he learned from different martial arts every year." And I was like, "Wow, that sounds pathetic." And the guy was like, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well, what do you learn your first year? You learn all your basics." So you got basics from karate, judo, aikido, kung fu. He learned all the basics from, jiu-jitsu in a year, and then he never got anything advanced. What is that, Daredevil? I don't know who the heck it was, but it was the premise of one of these superheroes. Oh. But the thing is, a new, I don't know.
It might have been Daredevil.
Was it?
It might have been. I didn't read much of Daredevil.
Oh, no. It was the chick with the size.
Oh, that's Psylocke?
They made that crappy movie about her.
Yeah, what the hell's her name?
I don't know.
She was whack.
The point is that's pretty lame.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to good skills.
You learn white belt in every art. What can you block?
Yeah. Yeah, well, there you
gotta
really
kill it block.
But that's the premise of modern martial arts, and that's what someone says, you know, you're going to have to spend 3 years learning this art. You're going to have to spend 6 years learning this art. You're going to have to spend 10 years learning this art. And the Gracies are saying, which is a beautiful thing, you'll get it when you're skilled enough to get it. Most martial arts schools now are just churning them out, which is so sad, you know. I wrote in my book, there's a story about this guy who's laughing because, you know, I've been training for years, and I got my black belt in less than 2 years, just under 2 years. Man, you suck. You know, this is who I met. You know, this is who I met, and
what a shame.
well, that's it. But
What
here's
a
the thing, right?
shame.
If you were jumping from school to school learning parts of arts, if you're only learning white belt stuff, you're only learning basic stuff. Well, yeah, you're gonna find flaws in that. First of all, you didn't really learn it. Secondly, you don't even know what the heck it's for. Thirdly, it's the most basic stuff taught to the masses to try to get you safe as soon as possible. So they're going to be simple moves. They're not going to be advanced moves. So you go to the next school, and they show you another simple group of moves that barely work, but we were trying not to get you choked, and we're almost working on dealing with a punch, you know? And then, not a real punch, a really slow cream puff, you know? And then you got to switch to your next school, because you know what's better.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't learn anything yet.
Yeah.
So the position of Soke will not be an easy one to fulfill.
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna be. That's a hard job. That's the part that I'm not really looking forward to is finding a replacement.
I think you have a lot of candidates.
Yeah.
I think you have a great handful of candidates, and it's bound to be one of them out of that handful.
I'm doing the Sokaku Takeda thing, man.
What's that?
Takeda Sensei was a little revolutionary, I think. He didn't pick one successor. You put the time in, you get it. My sensei's really big on one successor, and I think almost all are. The Takenouchi-ryu had two lines. They had two successors who attained Soke, and one was called the Sodenki line, and the other one was the Soke line. I'm just gonna give it to.
The more branches, the better. I mean, why would you just have two?
Well, they only have one. Well, most ryu have one.
So what you're saying is, you're not just gonna have one or possibly two Soke, but you're gonna make a whole ton of Soke.
Well, I'm not gonna make anything. This is my deal. My deal is, I'm going to train my students and provide every one of them with the opportunity to attain the position of Soke. But each one has to possess all of the qualities that a Soke needs and should possess. Meaning, if there is some lingering ego, or they think that they're tough shit, or whatever it may be, I'm talking about the most humble, most beautiful men that could walk the planet. If these guys, I want them to be better than me. If they have better skills than me, if they know the art and their history and their philosophy, if they can take out multiple people at the same time, if they learn the thousands of techniques leading up to this, and if they know it, you know, and if they're living it, then who am I to deny that man? That man that put 20-some years in, maybe 30 years in, and I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I'm only picking one of you? No.
So once there's 10 of us, my suggestion would be, because for 10 Soke to exist in this art, you know, and for us to be at that round table,
yeah,
and to agree on certain things, there may be tension, and maybe you would implement a rindori for the person to have their idea pushed through if need be.